One, we are live. Welcome, welcome. We have a wonderful, wonderful show for you here today. Jason is going to be asking Christine, Maj, and Phil some questions about a recent deal that they've closed and maybe any opportunities that they might have for you to connect with them. So I'm so excited that you're here joining us live. So you get an opportunity to connect with leaders in the Sub2 community and Pace's other communities. So super excited. If you are so brave and you want to ask any questions about these recent deals or maybe general real estate questions that you might have, feel free to drop a comment and I will pop those up to the live so that our wonderful host and lovely guests can answer those questions. Thank you so much. I'm Alex and I'm a part of the Pace Morby team. Take it away, Jason.
Appreciate you, Alex. Thank you so much. And thank you to Morby Media, right? I think what they do is powerful and allowing you guys to come out and share your stories. And I think your stories need to be heard. So and basically the reason why is, this can be done and it can be easy, but you have to put the work in. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. But real quick, a little bit about myself. My name is Jason Bates. I am a Sub2 and a Gator student, as well as a top tier certified transaction coordinator. I am the co-founder and CEO of Venture Vibes Fund, where we raise private capital for buying RV parks, boutique hotels, and other vacation type real estate. So reach out to me if you guys are interested in anything like that. I'm also co-owner of Finish Line TC Services. But fortunately, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about these three amazing individuals. And Christina, I really like to start with you and just ask you just a really easy question. What were you doing before you got into real estate and before you joined Sub2?
First, thank you for inviting me here, Maj, Phil. Nice to see you guys. But before I was part of the community, I had been part of, or I still am, I work at my 9 to 5 is a management company, property management company for like HOAs, managing homeowners associations. So not even on the rental side, but that is what I was doing before and actually what I'm still currently doing as well.
Okay, perfect. I love that. Mm-hmm. Maj, what about you, my friend? What were you doing before real estate or before Sub2?
Man, what was I doing? Not being in an amazing community such as this one.
I hear you.
I mean, I've been in Sub2 since December 2021. And just the fact that it's 2025 and I can still be on this podcast it's freaking amazing. So, I ultimately started off, to answer your question, with a cleaning business that I was working in. I finally got to the point where I have employees that can work with me. And, they've been crushing it so far. This is week number 2, a lot of trial and error for the last 3-4 months. And, I wouldn't have been able to learn the character traits as to what it takes to lead a team and guide and all that stuff without being in the Sub2 community.
Yeah, I liked it. It really is a crash course on leadership, right? If you decided to step up and take your knowledge and utilize it to help others, it's definitely a great trait for a leader. So that's a really good point.
100%.
I love that. Phil, my friend, what about you? What were you doing before you got into real estate and joined Sub2?
I was actually a software engineer, and I've been doing that for about 4.5 years. And I quit my job back in July 21st of 2021, right in the middle of the pandemic. So that's what I was.
So then let me ask you this. That's a great segue. So what was the trigger that made you join this community?
Well, before joining Sub2, I was in Fortune Builders, which was like way more. It's about like a $40,000 like mentorship. And I did my first 5 fix and flips, got kind of burnt out because there was no really community aspect of it. The community they did have in there was very cold and kind of one-sided almost. Okay. And so saw Pace's face on social media, his ad popped up, and then I ended up learning more about Pace and then decided to join Sub2 back in August of 2021, I believe. And 2020 coming up. Yeah. And then just fell in love with the community ever since then, and I found my business partner there, and then just started scaling really quickly.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So forgive me, is it Christine or Kristen?
Christine, yeah.
Christine, okay.
Yeah.
What was the trigger for you? What was the catalyst that made you decide to join the community?
Kind of the same thing as Phil, and probably what a lot of people come across, especially with Pace. He's just, once you hear him talk, you want to stay around him. You just get a feeling from, first what he's talking about. You're like, you know what? He keeps things simple. He goes into what could be a very complex situation and he simplifies it. Not only that, he always brings up the human side of real estate. It's not just about the numbers. It's not just about this, that, or the other. But coming across him on the socials, I as well actually have joined a while back as well, back in 2020 as well. And just the same thing. I was previously in another mentorship, and kind of along the same lines as Phil. It was just kind of like, hey, here's a database of videos, and I hope you don't have any questions. Thanks. And you're like, okay, thank you. And it's just, you get bored with that. You need the engagement in order to stay,
Great point.
excited.
Yeah. And I can honestly say I learned from Pace that we are in the relationship business. And so I have built some pretty powerful relationships, not just with people that are buying real estate, but people that are selling, people that are lending, people that are borrowing. There's just so much value in having those people, in your list of phone numbers in your phone. It's just powerful. I love it. So great point. Maj, what about you? What was the trigger that got you to join this incredible community?
Were you asking me?
Yeah. So what was your forgive me. What was your trigger that got you to join?
My trigger was trying to find a home to move into. I was doing Airbnb arbitrage. I learned everything on YouTube, and I was working in my cleaning business. And long story short, I got done with a carpet cleaning job. Look to my left, I see a house that had a for rent sign, and just went on YouTube and did my thing, learned there. And even a longer story short, I lost that Airbnb, which sucked because I pocketed maybe like $40K from that net, and I didn't own a thing. So that was cool.
That's
I didn't really have to
awesome.
come out of pocket outside of first and last month's rent. And so after that, it was kind of a sting. So I tried to figure out how to get into a property with no to low money down. And I feel like those keywords were what led me to Pace. So I saw him on Bigger Pockets podcast, and I was like, man, is this legal? Is this guy like legit? I feel like a lot of people really question that from the beginning. So I went down a whole rabbit hole, subscribed to his YouTube, saved his like all the playlists that he had, watched everything on the playlist. Then I started I went up the value ladder that Pace had, got into a free course, then a little $200. Then I got into Sub2 community, and it's been great ever since.
I love that. I've had the privilege to do hundreds of these interviews, and the two things I hear all the time is I thought it was a scam, and I didn't think it was legal.
Yeah.
And then both of those get debunked probably within your first 48 hours in the community. So
yeah, it was a cognitive dissonance, to try to wrap my head around the whole thing, no pun intended with raps, but it does take it's an information overload, I would say, especially if you're like have something else going, because I was working in my business and also learning creative financing. Right. So, I cut off a lot of other podcasts and things just to take in a lot of the information that we listen to in the community.
I love that. So tell us a little bit about, we got a question. Let's see. Have no money, but want to market EMD and white label PML. I've set all that up, been marketing on Facebook, recommendations to find fix and flippers that want money that I can either wrestle or send them. That's a great question. It seems like marketing is the hardest part. Do you guys, anybody want to take that one on? I have a couple ideas, but I'd like to hear what you guys think on that question.
Well, I think we did something familiar, Phil, didn't we?
Yeah. So if you have no money and want to market for EMD, my opinion is just building your network. Like if you have more time than you have money, then you need to start building networks. Like meet people, talk to title companies, talk to fix and flippers, talk to wholesalers. I mean, this line of work is not like a cakewalk. Like you had to put in serious hours, serious work, a day in and day out. Whether it's not sexy at all, it's actually hard work. So I mean, if you think everybody makes it look sexy, it's not sexy.
Phil makes it look sexy.
I was gonna say both of these guys did.
No, but
I can't argue with that logic.
100%. But to Phil's point, is 100% correct. Is like network. You know, even if you're at a networking event and you just are next to a random person in line, you just talk to them. You never know where that conversation is going to go. I was along that path. What was it in sub 2 master? What was it? Sub 2 mastermind. What is the one that's coming up here soon in April? Is it April?
The Squad
Up.
Yeah,
the Squad Up Summit. There were so many people that I just met talking about, you know, burritos and pizza. That's what we were eating, and then you know, who would have known it would turn into thousands of dollars down the road, and then an awesome relationship.
Yeah, no, and that's a great point. And I think Christina hit it early on when she said we're in the relationship business, right? And so we're building relationships because people want to open their checkbook with friends. They want to make money with their friends. They want to do business with their friends. So you have to build that relationship. And where I have the best luck, especially for fix and flippers, is I'll go out into the community and go to real meetups, not just Zoom meetups, real meetups with fix and flippers. And I don't even use the word Gator because most of them out there don't know Gator outside of this community. So I basically just go start to ask a series of questions and I get them to put a spotlight on their problem. So first of all, I go, hey, how much do you spend per year on EMD, knowing that you'll make it back when you sell the property, but how much do you spend in EMD per year? And it's usually a full-time fix and flipper will spend 6 figures a year in EMD, getting properties under contract, you know, getting flipped and then sold. So that's problem number one. And then problem number two, I asked them is how often do you find that you have to deploy your team to other contracts because you haven't sold that last property yet and you don't have your next one under contract? And so that becomes another problem, right? Is they're not keeping their team busy. And then number three is that they're in a holding pattern. So then you say, well, hey, I don't know if I've told you this, but I like to partner with fix and flippers. A lot of them already have private money lenders that are already lending on deals. But did you know that I can come in and I can lend EMD on multiple properties you can get under contract, and your PML just has to increase their amount by a little bit and just pay me out at close? And then that's just enough of, you know, of a conversation for them to go, oh no, I had no idea. Tell me more. How can I get multiple properties under contract and not spend any of my own money? So those are the kind of things you want to do, is just go out and meet people and yes, A, build their relationship, but B, find out what their pain points are. As Pace would say, what are the bunnies? Find out what the bunnies are. What is it that they really need solved and that you can help them solve so they want to do business with you? So that's my personal 2 cents. I don't know if anybody wants to add to that.
Yeah, one thing I was going to say, which is very, I guess, a very simple way to come across fix and flippers. And actually, Eddie Charger, one of the leaders here in Atlanta, brought this up in a meeting one time locally. And I was like, wow, that's such a good idea, especially if somebody's working on a budget. But when you're driving around in your neighborhood, going to and from work, running errands, whatever it may be, stop when you see a house being built. Go out and talk to who that is there, because obviously that person is local to you. Not only that, but another trick is that there's always the permit box that's outside the building. Flip it open and take a look and grab the contact information for the flipper. They're right there. So that's something simple.
That's absolutely awesome. I love that. And we just dropped gold right there. So I think we sufficiently answered your question, Will, and, you know, go forth and do great things. I love it. Okay, new question. I have an LLC for 5 years and I keep hearing about a Conta T Prime Corp. Should I do that or wait until I start to generate income?
I think she's talking about Prime Corporate Services. Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I personally think you should open an LLC before you decide to start doing business. That's me personally. I don't want there to be any misinformation between me doing something personally as Jason and me doing something as a business owner. So, you know, it's usually pretty starting an LLC is probably the most inexpensive part of your business when you get started, in my opinion. So get that going and then decide where you want to take your business from there. Now everything is run through your business. You have a lot more write-offs. It just gives you more flexibility than if you were just an individual. That's me. I don't know if anybody wants to add to that.
So she ended up saying that she corrected her statement saying contact. So I keep hearing about contacting. I'm sure prime corporate service. Should I do that now or wait until I start generating income? Well, I mean, I want to understand your question a little bit more in regards to why you want to contact prime corporate services. Is there a particular reason why? I think that'll probably be better since you already have an LLC.
Yeah, that's true. Unless there's somebody that's trying to build business credit.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'll move on until we get a clarification on that question. So Maj, you were talking about how you found your deal. Is this a deal you three did together, or did you do that with Christine? How did that work?
Well, the one initially I was talking about with Phil was more of like a gator wrestling on my part, along with another individual on our team. And I know Phil because we've been trying to roll in jiu-jitsu for forever, and it's yet to happen. Side note, but I met him at a business networking event for deal makers in New Jersey, and then again at the in Montana. And yeah, I just know that Phil was doing some lending at the time. So, it just so happened to kind of mesh at the right time, where he had the funds along with another individual as well, and just put the things together. But that was one deal. I also have a deal that I've done with Christine as well when we were working, and that deal was in Florida too. Christine, maybe you want to go further on that one?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that one was in Wildwood, Florida. And for me personally, it was actually, even though I had been in Sub-2 for so long on Gator and top tier TC, that particular contract was one that I was the TC for, as well as working with Maj on different things. But it was actually my first deal that I did anything with. So it was awesome. I had the opportunity to not only work with Maj, but also Joseph Long and Bryce and the TC that was brought in on the other side, Flaviana, for the initial buyer, that is. They were all people that I knew only because I was part of this community. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known any of the other people that were part of this party. And that's the incredible thing about this community. You can be doing things out of state. We're all located in totally different states, and yet we knew of each other because of this community. So yeah, that's huge.
And that's a great point. And I really like the way Pace and his team have built it, right? So you've got top tier underwriting at the beginning of the transaction, and then you got the creative purchase folks, and then you've got in the Gator group, you've got the lenders, either EMD or fix and flips or double close, or you name it. There's your lending community, and then you've got the top tier TC at the back end of the transaction, taking you from opening of escrow to close of escrow. And then even post-close after that, because I saw a question in there earlier about Sub-2, find a really good transaction coordination company that has a dedicated post-close team, and they'll help you with all that documentation to make sure that if you do have to file, an insurance claim, that you have everything in place to claim that insurance. So there is a way to do it. There's very distinct steps. Any top-tier TC in the community can help with that. I myself have a TC company that has 2 or 3 dedicated top tier TCs that only do post close because that's all they focus on. So a really good point. So, but the bigger point I wanted to make is the community, right? It doesn't matter where you feel that you fit in somewhere, and then you can be part of the bigger community, right? Because now you can be part of a deal depending on where your area of expertise is. So awesome. I absolutely love that. So Phil, tell us a little bit about your deal. Where'd you find it, the deal breakdown, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so my deal involves a landscaping business out of Beaufort, Georgia. So like northeast of Georgia. So if anything, like this is a great community to connect with. So kind of like the origin story behind this. Like I joined Protege, which is Deal Maker, Carl Allen's program, learning how to buy businesses. And I ended up learning how to do underwriting and learning how to market for business sellers. And I was speaking at an event in Northern Virginia, and another buddy in the community connected me with another guy that had a deal that he was trying to dispo. And I had a lot of leads that I couldn't call due to my schedule. So we actually swapped places, and I was like, hey, how about you call my leads, and then I disposition your landscaping business out of Beaufort, Georgia. And then what I did was I posted all the information that I ended up getting onto the Carl Allen's community. And lo and behold, someone was interested in buying it. And how we structured the deal was that this person would give us $15,000 as an assignment fee. And then on top of that, he'll give us 10% each in equity if we are open to acquiring more businesses within this particular sector. And so for us, it's kind of a no-brainer. Noble and I, we just went ahead and went through it. And then we acquired the business with zero down, meaning we put no money into the deal. And we, at closing, we got capital, because it's the working capital for the company. So you need capital, obviously, to continuously run it and to pay employees, vendors, payments, bills, etc. So we end up buying that business for zero down. We got about like $21,000 at closing. The owners transferred the money to us. The revenue, the deal breakdown, the company was generating about $400,000 in revenue a year. As one employee, it's not including the mom and pop kind of situation. It had one truck and then just like one set of mowers, blowers, and trimmers. So that was literally a year and a month ago. And now we've grown the business to 120%. So now it generated, at the end of last year, it generated $921,000. So about 121% growth. We're up to 15 employees now. We're at about 4 crews. Each crew consists of about 2 to 3 man. And now we're in the process of acquiring 2 more landscaping businesses in the general area to grow the revenues to probably close to $3 million. We're shooting for $4 million this year. So that's kind of like the whole grand scheme of thing is I could not do this without a network of individuals and a like-minded community. So I think it's been very, very valuable and just plays a big part of trajectory as far as just like my overall wealth and team building. So yeah, that's kind of how my deal breakdown was.
So what you're trying to tell me is all the really cool stuff you learned in creative finance for buying real estate, you got to use for buying a business. That is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you actually have more levers to pull when you buy businesses, more creative levers. I mean, so you have so much, and the financing actually is a lot better compared to real estate. Because in real estate, you go conventional, you can put down 20%, 25%. But if you go like personal, you have FHA and etc. But I'm talking about more like buying a commercial property for your commercial reasons. Now for business, you can put down up to 5%, and then the seller can cover the other 5% using SBA 7A loan structure. So it's way more lucrative, and you get way more cash flow than a regular home to produce.
Yeah. So really, there's the there's the thing that people don't understand. You think this is a scam, but you think you're coming in to learn creative real estate, but PACE teaches you how to buy everything creatively, how to buy RVs creatively, cars creatively, businesses creatively. Everything you learn in creative finance for buying real estate, you can apply to anything else. I love that.
Yeah. One thing I was going to say, I'm sorry, and it's kind of off topic, but one thing kind of going along with what you're saying, that one of the greatest things that I have found about being in this community is that as Pace gets interested about something, you're eventually going to learn about it, because he always brings it back to us. It's like, hey, guess who I talked to this weekend? Hey, guess what I did this weekend? Like whatever it is, he always brings it back to us. He's constantly, paying back to us. It's amazing.
And he vets it out too, right? He goes and tries it himself. He goes off, does the experiment, says, yeah, okay, this has a lot of value. Now, how can I give that back to the community? So yes, that's absolutely incredible. I love it. That is a great point. So I think you guys each talked about this a little bit, but how was the community involved in any of your deals? Whether it's you used the underwriter, you used a lender, you used a top tier TC, you used somebody in the sub two or the free creative group. How else has the community helped you guys with your guys' transactions?
Can I go?
Absolutely.
Can it just be any deal?
Anything you want to talk about?
Okay. Well, the reason I say any deal is because all of my deals had all sub two students in it.
There you go.
All the way from the TC, because me and TC work, we don't mesh. It's like oil and water, so I'm allergic to it. So having the TC there was great. That's when I brought Christine along for one of our deals. And then also just finding buyers as well. Being able to network, like what we were talking about from the beginning.
Mhm.
Having a buyer in place is so crucial. So you're not just, locking up a deal just for the sake of locking it up. And I guess it really depends on the intention, right? Of what you're looking to get out of the community, and also give back to the community, because I feel like you reap what you sow, and, the value that you give is what you get. So, ultimately, when I was doing all of the deals that I've had, TC, finding a buyer, someone that's had a seller that brings me a deal, then I'm a connector, or connecting the funds to the deal. I've pretty much been able to connect with somebody in sub two that's had another piece of the puzzle, if you will.
I love that. I've said these on these interviews before. It's fun to make money. It's even more fun to make money with your friends. So as many people as you can build relationships in sub two, you can do business with.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Very so true. And I look forward to doing some deals with you, Jason. And
Absolutely.
I've been busy, focused on my cleaning business for the last like 6 months. So I've been keeping my head down, but I'm gonna peek my head up this year and be in the community a little bit more.
Awesome. I look forward to that. And I'd love to connect with you anytime you want about any topic you want to talk about.
100%.
I've gotten into multifamily in 2024 and 2025. So I launched a fund. So I'm willing to talk about any and all of that. So I'd definitely love to connect.
What are you working on recently right now?
Right now, I've got an RV park under contract in northern Texas that closes at the end of February. And then I actually had to stop at a coffee shop for this interview, but I'm heading out to go look at another park in Louisiana. Every park I go to purchase, I walk first and I talk to the sellers. I find out what their vision is, and so it's been a lot of fun connecting with a lot of these sellers. So I really like that part of multifamily. I like the fact that investing in vacation type properties is just, people love to go to places like that. People don't pack up their families to go to an apartment complex. So, so that's what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on all the benefits of multifamily, but all the fun of owning a vacation property rather than, a standard apartment complex. Not that I'm against those. I'm definitely going to move into that when the market shifts. But right now, the market is saying that apartments aren't quite ready for those great deals yet, and so I'm just letting it simmer a little bit longer.
Awesome. That's what I love about being in sub two as well. Is there's so many things you can choose. At the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, I was overwhelmed and I did it all.
I hear you.
There's no way you can't be. I mean, it's inevitable.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome. Anybody else want to add to that discussion of how the community was involved with your deal?
For me, it was just, the landscaping business was just 3 community members connecting, all trying to solve a problem. And honestly, like, I would not have a landscape business without the member in sub 2, and I would not have met that member through another sub 2 member. So it's like really cool to kind of see like the trajectory and then the timeline of who connected to who. And I'm greatly appreciative of the community, because without that, I just would not be able to have a landscaping business now. So yeah.
Sweet. So Phil, how would you say sub 2 has impacted your life?
So it helped me quit my job as a software engineer, and I'm basically doing this full time. It has built me passive and generational income. It has built me active income, and it has built an amazing community where I can talk to anybody depending on what part of my life I'm in. And whether I disappear for a year and come back, it's still going to be there. It's it's evergreen. Honestly speaking, it's going to be there until the day I die, hopefully, and hopefully more folks come in too as well.
I love that. Christine, what about you? How has Sub 2 impacted your life?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope to one day be Phil. I'll definitely say that. But I would definitely say, kind of like we've been saying the entire time, the people that you meet, the relationships, hitting the road, going on vacation has a totally different aspect to it now, because your first thought is always, I wonder who I can meet up with when I go here, there, wherever it is, just because, your trip's going to be that much better. So definitely the relationships beyond the deals, beyond any of the opportunities, it's getting the chance to come across, meet people, and become friends with people that you would otherwise never would have come across.
Hey, you make a great point. A couple of weeks ago, I went to New Orleans to celebrate a birthday, and I ended up going to a Sub 2 meetup there. There happened to be one that weekend I was there. And then I just got a Sub 2 transaction for a guy that I met at this meetup.
Mm-hmm.
So just going out there, meeting the person turned into I'm TCing a Sub 2 deal in Louisiana. So you're right,
awesome.
Getting out there. And so we do the same thing when we plan vacations. We go, okay, well, who can we meet up there? It doesn't even have to be someone in the Sub 2 community. Is there any kind of real estate meetup there, or any kind of business owner meetup or entrepreneur meetup there, somewhere where I can give value and take value?
Absolutely.
That's a great point. Maj, what about you, my friend? How has Sub 2 impacted your life?
Well, pretty much just having a high quality network of friends that, I don't feel like they're on idle. I know they're always pursuing something. If I don't hear from them, like I haven't seen Christine or Phil, but we've been chatting, like been knowing each other for years, but I know they're busy doing their thing, and they're crushing it. I just know that they're always somebody that I could reach out to in order to, like, when I was in Puerto Rico, randomly came across some people. Actually, I was at a beach in the Rincon, which is the west side, and there's a few Sub 2 students that walked by, and they're like, "Hey, Maj." I was like, "What? Do I know you?" It was like, "Oh yeah, you were on the podcast of Pace. Like, you asked all the questions, right?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's me." So, being able to just be out there and just, even like, I know if I'm in Atlanta, I could hit Christine, and just kick it. Or Phil, I feel like Phil's all over the place, but I can't keep up with Phil.
Yeah, he's mysterious. You don't know where he landed on any given day.
Yeah, 100%. But if I'm ever out where Phil's at, then I could just hit him up and be like, "Hey Phil, where you at?" That's in itself, just the camaraderie goes so long, because being on a journey and being like making money, it just it's boring. It's
Right.
it's not a means to an end, but being able to do it with other people and smile and share stories about it that's what I love.
That's perfect. And now let's also say too, there's a lot of 2025 left, right? So what's up next for you for this year, Maj? What do you have planned for 2025?
Well, plan is to step away completely from my cleaning business and have that bringing at least 3 to 5 million in revenue, and then to buy my first house, subject to that I'll be living in, hopefully here in Colorado.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah. That's so far. That's really it. I mean, family goals is just to be an awesome father. That's really my ultimate. That's the last one is the best one.
I can totally see you doing it too. So that's pretty cool. I love it.
Thank you.
Christine, what about yourself? What's on deck for you? What do you got planned for 2025?
I definitely, I'm kind of along the same lines as Maj, getting that first house.
You're going to be a great dad?
Oh, well, hey, probably not. I don't know that I could ever achieve that. You know what? I will pray for you, my friend. But yeah, definitely, not only purchasing my own first home, preferably creative, just because, hey, we know we can.
Yeah.
But also, I'm wanting to focus in on more on the operation side of real estate. I
love
think
that.
that's more so where I gravitate towards too, just because that's where I think I'm stronger. That's where my W-2 is as well. But I think not wanting to let go of other opportunities that come up, and that's the awesome thing about. I think Phil had mentioned it earlier. I forget who mentioned it, but the fact that there are times, as Maj was even just expressing, that we can step away,
Yeah.
whether it's personally or things that we're working on, and come back, and we know we're going to be, welcome with open arms to take on the next project.
Yeah, you make a really good point, because you talked about some of the skills you've learned in your W-2 and how that applies to your business. And I tell people all the time, because I hear people go, "Oh, I wish I could quit my job and start a business like you guys do." And I go, "Well, you can. Being in a W-2 has taught you so much about running a business. Now, instead of doing it for someone else, do it for yourself." So,
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I've learned things in this community that I've taken back to my W-2, and they just think I'm awesome. And I'm like, I am.
I am awesome, because
I am.
you become who you surround yourself with, and if you surround
Exactly.
yourself by awesome people, you're awesome by default.
Right. Exactly.
I love that. Phil, what about you, my friend? What's on deck for 2025, and what's this year look like for you?
Yeah, so every single year towards the end, I always map out my goals and my statements. And so this year, I have continue growing my fix and flip business, looking to do 10 flips this year at 40K net per door.
Love that.
Helping other people get their first deal by building a wholesale company and kind of helping out my local community. Looking to build, actually, right now I'm actively building a community of my own with a couple of other owner club members. So we are actively at like 250 people right now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. And then, I'm in the middle of acquiring a commercial property, a multi-tenant business commercial property, and then acquiring 2 landscaping businesses, which I'm in the process right now, and then hosting 10 meetups in my local area to help other people as well. So that's what I have on deck at the current moment. And I'm sure I'll probably bust out a couple of other goals after I reach them. So we'll see what this entails, right?
Yeah, like a half a dozen goals isn't good enough. So I get it.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not pushing yourself, you're not succeeding. So I totally respect why you're doing what you're doing. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Sure.
So Phil, what would you say to somebody who was on the fence about joining this amazing community?
I would ask yourself, do you have enough pain to change? Do you like your current situation right now? If you do, then just continue doing what you're doing and just ignore what you're hearing, right? But if you actually want to build a life with like-minded individuals, that you want more out of life, you want to create your own life, you want to create your own friend group, then go for it. You want to improve every single day. I mean, you're tired of playing video games, smoking weed, just doing nothing every Saturday, Sunday, Friday. Well, then yeah, go for it. Just take a look at your own life. I mean, you deserve everything you have right now, whether it's good or bad. For me, the change was very simple. I just did not like where I was heading, and I know I needed to change so I can be the best person, best father, best brother, son, whoever I needed to be. And that's what really propelled me. And I invest money every single year into my education. I mean, it's gotten more expensive every single year because I want to level up faster. So right now, I mean, I allocate about $30,000. I know it sounds like crazy. I'm not trying to brag, but that's just insane amount of money. Like when I first started real estate investing, I would never have thought I would spend that much money just on self investment and improvement. But at the end of the day, you, like I said, like people here said, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
And you get more. Like it pushes you more. So that's what I would say to people on the fence. Like it's up to you, honestly speaking. Like no one really cares at the end of the day.
True. And you make a good point. For every dollar you invest in yourself, you'll make $10 back. There's proof for that. And so you're absolutely right. I love that. It's a really, really good point. and you're right about turning up the volume on the pain, right? One of my mentors who taught me a lot about communication, Michael Burnoff, he says, okay is okay until okay isn't okay anymore. And then at that point you have to say, okay, what's working now isn't working. And if I do nothing else, in 12 months, I'll be exactly where I'm at today. That's just the way your brain is wired. You'll have 12 months from now what you have today if you do nothing else. But if you decide you're going to make that change because you don't want to deal with where you're at anymore, then change will happen.
Yeah. Change happens all around you anyways. Seasons change, people change, your environment change. Why not you?
I love that. That's perfect. That's a great analogy. I'm going to steal that probably sometime.
Put that on a shirt.
But I'll credit Phil for it. So, because I'm not greedy. I like to share the wealth.
Thanks.
Maj, what about you? What would you say to somebody who's on the fence about joining this community?
Honestly, if you're on the fence, don't. That's what I would say, because you have to go all in. Like, if you're not going to make a decision and you're just like iffy about it, there's no point. And that's just how I feel. I think there's a correlation between the people that have wealth and the people that don't have wealth. I think the people that do have wealth have the capacity to make decisions quicker. If you can't, then you know where you stand. Ultimately, I don't mean to be blunt and kind of like an asshole about it, but I do think there's some people out there that need to hear that and do need that voice, because they've just been on the fence for a day, a year, a decade. Then time we cannot get back. So that's what I have to really say about it.
Yeah, and you should never apologize for speaking the truth, because I can tell you most of us talk more harsh to ourselves than you're talking harsh right now. So we need to hear it in the voice that we're used to talking down to ourselves about. So you definitely make a great point there.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Christine, what about you, my friend? What would you say to somebody who's on the fence?
Yeah, I mean, I agree both with Maj and Phil, and definitely to your point, Jason. At the end of the day, I would tell that person, has it worked for you so far? Like, what you're doing, are you truly striving for your goals? Because if you're not, it's two things. So I agree with what Maj and Phil are saying, but I would say that if somebody is on the fence, one thing to keep in mind is that one thing that I take away from this community that it gets brought up every now and then is that our goal is to, and my personal goal is to each day get 1% better. Be better than you were yesterday. I aspire to be Maj. I aspire to be Phil. I don't expect to be them tomorrow. So if that 1% better means joining, and then exponentially that percentage will grow, that is what I would tell you. That's what I would tell someone. If you're ready to give what you receive, then you're ready. If you just don't know how, or what to give, you'll find it. You'll find it. You'll find your place.
Well, you and Maj remind me of something that I've learned over the years is people who have what I want, they're not better than me. They're just doing it different. And once I figure out what they're doing different, then that's when everything changes. And the cool thing about this community is, people will tell you, well, this is why I'm doing it that way, and give it a try and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, great. If it does, even better. But then at least you can say, look, I tried it the way this person did. It didn't work for me for whatever reason. I'm going to go try how this person did it. So it just gives you options when you have a community of people that want you to level up as much as you want to level up.
Right, exactly. And especially being in a creative community, there's 4 different ways to do one thing.
Yeah, and to your point, Jason, about doing things different, not only do you have to do it different, but also show up every day, because it's easy to just give up and be like, I'm taking today off. No, the next day. Well, my friends are going out. Let me just go out with them. So being consistent, especially when you're developing a new habit, can get challenging. And being in a community can help.
Yeah. Well, and it's true. And you create things in your life and you say, these are non-negotiables. I have no problem going out and hanging out with my friends. I've got no problem going out and see a movie. But if I didn't achieve these other things in my life first, then those are non-negotiable. I'll hang out with my friends next week instead, because I said I was going to have this done by Friday, and it's Friday and it's not done yet. So yeah, you make an absolute great point. And I love that you put that exclamation point on this conversation, because I think that's what everybody who watches this, live Q&A, this is what they take away from, is that I can do this. I am capable. And if I don't know how to do it, there's someone in the community or dozens of people in the community that does.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, anybody can do this. Anybody can.
Yeah. Well, and Maj, let's face it, you're pretty inspirational. how can people get a hold of you? Because I'm sure after this interview, people are going to want to connect with you.
I don't have my socials. I just realized. Okay. I've been taking a break from social media because I just been focused. So this is like day 43, but who's counting? You can find me on Maj Say, MAJ, S as in Sam, AYY on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook.
Awesome. Christine, how can people get a hold of you if they want to connect with you because you're doing such amazing things?
Sorry, I think I just cut out. Was it my turn?
Yeah, I was asking how can people connect with you?
Oh, okay, yeah. So my socials are hey, it's Christine Morales, both on IG and on Facebook.
Perfect.
So
I love
definitely
it.
reach out.
And Phil, what about you? I mean, everybody should know someone from Owners Club. How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so my IG is on my name right there, Phillip H. Thai. You can reach me on IG or YouTube. And if you want to join my community, happy to have you guys. It's New Breed Investors on school.com. So hopefully you guys join, learn something, and get some value out of me.
Awesome. You three are incredible. I'm so glad you guys came on to tell us your stories. I'm glad I got to facilitate this conversation. This makes up my whole week and just gets me so pumped for the weekend, and just makes me glad over and over and over again I'm part of this amazing community. So thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Where can we find you, Jason?
I'm on Instagram on Jason Bates Invests. And then, of course, you can find me in the Sub2 and Gator Group. And then Finish Line TC Services is my website if you guys need some TC work. Not to take anything away from Christine. She's a TC as well.
Jay Order awesome.
That's right. There's plenty to go around.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of investors out there. I think the free community is well over 100,000 people. So
yeah.
Wow.
No shortage of people to work with.
Absolutely, man. It was such a joy to hear each and every one of your stories and kind of looking forward to what you're going to be doing next. And kind of a common theme that I was hearing throughout the conversation that we had today was like, going all in on yourself and investing yourself in yourself and realizing that you don't have to go it alone. Like there is this whole entire community that's got your back if you want to be a part of it. So speaking of like being in the right rooms and connecting with the right people, I know we touched on it a little bit, but Squat Up Summit is happening really soon. So I do have to ask you, who all here is going to Squat Up?
I am.
Definitely me.
Awesome. So if you want an opportunity to meet all of the awesome people that you heard today, definitely consider, looking at getting a ticket for Squat Up Summit. It's going to be in Texas. So it'll be nice and warm and, hopefully warm. I would assume so. But yeah, just consider that as far as getting around the right people. And to all of you, I hope that you are able to meet all of those goals. I loved how clear you laid them out for everybody. And hopefully, if you're watching today, you will reach out to each and every one of our lovely guests and our host today. So with that being said, does anybody have any last lingering thoughts that you want to make sure that people know today before we head out for our Friday?
I appreciate everybody's time, and I love you all.
Yeah, go do great things, everyone. You're all capable of great things.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Yay.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Alex.